Have you ever felt stuck in negative thoughts when looking back on your life, comparing yourself to others? Have you ever wondered why people your age seem to be enjoying their golden years so fully, while you still feel lost or unsatisfied with yourself? We live in an era where images of happiness, success, and fulfillment are everywhere, from lavish vacations and joyful family gatherings to elderly couples holding hands under a golden sunset. These pictures can make us question, why don't I have a retirement like that? But here's a truth that few realize. Not everyone finds happiness in constant social interaction. Some people, especially as they grow older, discover peace in solitude. They don't chase after noisy gatherings. They don't cling to relationships that no longer serve them. And most importantly, they learn to enjoy their own company. Eleanor had always been a vibrant woman who thrived on connection. Throughout her life, she was surrounded by family, friends, and loved ones. She was a devoted mother, a loving wife, and a friend who was always ready to lend a helping hand. But as she entered her 70s, everything seemed to change. Her husband passed away after a long illness. Her children had grown and moved away, consumed by their own busy lives. Her closest friends had either relocated or, one by one, departed from this world. For the first time in her life, Eleanor felt a void she had never faced before. Each morning, she woke up to a quiet house, feeling lost and alone. She would scroll through Facebook, seeing her peers posting pictures of vacations, cozy family gatherings, or joyful moments with their grandchildren. She couldn't help but wonder, why do they seem to have such a fulfilling old age while I feel so empty? At first, Eleanor tried to fill the void. She joined social clubs, enrolled in new classes, and reached out to old friends in hopes of rekindling past connections. But no matter what she did, an invisible emptiness lingered. She slowly realized that external connections couldn't heal the internal loneliness she felt. One day, while taking a walk in the nearby park, Eleanor met another elderly woman, Margaret. There was something different about Margaret. A quiet serenity, a peaceful smile, and a sense of contentment in her eyes that Eleanor had never seen before. They struck up a conversation, and Margaret shared that she had been living alone for over 15 years. But rather than feeling lonely, she had learned to embrace solitude in her own way. Margaret explained that after losing her husband and seeing her children move on with their lives, she too had felt lost. But instead of clinging to external relationships for fulfillment, she decided to learn how to befriend herself. She spent her time reading, journaling, meditating, and appreciating nature. She realized that life didn't have to be filled with people to be meaningful. Margaret's story resonated deeply with Eleanor. For the first time, she questioned whether she needed to chase after societal expectations. Perhaps being alone wasn't as frightening as she had always believed. From that day forward, Eleanor began a new journey, a journey of learning to enjoy her own company. Instead of dwelling in negative thoughts, she started her mornings with a walk in the park. She explored new hobbies, painting, writing letters to herself, and even trying meditation. Gradually, she discovered that peace didn't come from being surrounded by others, but from truly appreciating herself. Months later, Eleanor no longer felt lonely. Her home was as quiet as ever, but she now saw it differently. Not as an empty space, but as a sanctuary where she could relax and be at peace. When her children visited, she cherished the moments, but when they left, she no longer felt the familiar emptiness. Because now, she had found the most valuable companion in life, herself. Eleanor had come to understand a profound truth. Happiness isn't about having a crowd around you or filling your days with social events. True happiness is when you feel whole, even when you are alone. After Eleanor learned to embrace solitude, She not only felt happier, but also noticed something unexpected. Her mind became sharper, her thoughts more profound, and her anxiety significantly decreased. This wasn't just a coincidence, it's a scientifically proven fact. People who enjoy being alone in a healthy way tend to have higher emotional intelligence and lead more peaceful lives. 1. The science of solitude and emotional intelligence. Psychologists have found that those who can genuinely enjoy time alone often have greater self-awareness. Research by Professor Thuy V. Nguyen at Durham University in the UK suggests that spending time alone enhances emotional regulation, reduces stress levels, and improves decision-making abilities. When we are alone, our brains are not influenced by external opinions or social pressures. This allows us to truly listen to ourselves, understand our deepest thoughts and emotions, and develop a clearer sense of self. Solitude is not isolation. It's an opportunity to cultivate inner peace and become the best version of ourselves. Additionally, a study published in Psychological Science found that people who regularly spend time alone tend to be more creative. When the brain is free from external noise and distractions, it has the space to think, imagine, and develop new ideas. This explains why so many great writers, artists, and musicians throughout history have cherished solitude as an essential part of their creative process. 2. Eastern philosophy and inner stillness. In Eastern traditions, particularly Taoism and Zen Buddhism, inner stillness is regarded as a crucial element of wisdom and fulfillment. Ancient sages believed that only by listening to oneself could a person truly understand the world. Lao Tzu once said, "Knowing others is intelligence, knowing yourself is true wisdom." When we focus too much on the external world and compare ourselves to others, we miss the opportunity to gain deeper self-awareness. But when we dare to face solitude, we gain insight into our true nature, leading to peace and wisdom. Zen Buddhist monks in Japan practice a method called shikantaza, or just sitting. They do not attempt to think about anything in particular, nor seek distraction or social interaction. Instead, they simply sit in silence, observing their breath and surroundings. This practice leads to a heightened state of clarity and tranquility, what modern science refers to as the flow state. 3. Western philosophy, the wisdom of being alone. In Western thought, philosophers like Friedrich Nietzsche and Henry David Thoreau have also emphasized the importance of solitude in developing wisdom. Thoreau, a renowned writer and philosopher, chose to live alone in the woods for 2 years. In his book Walden, he wrote, "I have never found a companion that was so companionable as solitude." Nietzsche also famously said, "He who cannot endure solitude cannot endure himself." This suggests that those who fear being alone may struggle with self-acceptance. Moreover, a Harvard University study revealed that people who can enjoy time alone without feeling lonely tend to have better mental health and longer lifespans. They are less likely to suffer from depression and anxiety and lead more balanced lives compared to those who constantly seek validation from others. 4. Why older adults who enjoy solitude are truly wise. So why are older adults who embrace solitude considered truly wise? The answer lies in their deep understanding that happiness does not come from external noise, but from inner stillness. Wise elders no longer feel the need to prove themselves to anyone. They no longer feel pressured to maintain relationships that no longer serve them. Instead, they spend time on what truly matters. Whether it's reading a good book, taking a walk in the park, tending to a small garden, or simply enjoying a quiet cup of tea. They understand that solitude is not a sign of sadness, but an opportunity to slow down, reflect on life, and appreciate the small moments they once overlooked. They do not fear silence because they have learned to make it a trusted companion. As Eleanor realized, enjoying time alone is not a sign of loneliness. It is a testament to growth and wisdom. When an older adult can embrace solitude, it means they have reached a level of mental clarity where they are no longer bound by external expectations. They can look back on their lives with contentment, no regrets, no anxieties, and no need for validation from anyone else. And that is what makes them truly wise. After Eleanor learned to embrace solitude, she realized that being alone was not as frightening as she once thought. Instead of feeling empty, she found joy in simple things and lived a more peaceful, fulfilling life. So how can an older adult, especially a woman, make the most of solitude in a wise and enriching way? Here are some important lessons Eleanor discovered. 1. Accept that being alone does not mean being lonely. Many people mistake solitude for loneliness. Loneliness is when you crave companionship but find yourself isolated, whereas solitude is a choice, an opportunity to connect with yourself. When you accept solitude as a natural part of life, it no longer feels like something to fear. 2. Find joy in simple pleasures. Eleanor realized that happiness doesn't come from grand achievements, but from small, everyday moments. Sipping a warm cup of tea in the morning, listening to birds singing outside her window, or rereading a favorite book. When you learn to appreciate simple joys, life becomes more fulfilling. 3. Maintain a healthy and disciplined lifestyle. Solitude is most rewarding when accompanied by a positive routine. Eleanor established a daily schedule that included morning walks, gentle yoga, nutritious meals, and a consistent sleep pattern. When your body is healthy, your mind becomes lighter, and your sense of peace deepens. 4. Choose meaningful connections. Although Eleanor enjoyed her time alone, she maintained strong relationships with people who genuinely cared about her. Instead of trying to maintain a large social circle, she focused on a few meaningful connections. Quality relationships matter far more than quantity. 5. Slow down and appreciate the present. One of the most valuable lessons Eleanor learned was that life doesn't need to be rushed. By slowing down, she could fully enjoy each moment without dwelling on the past or worrying about the future. This newfound presence gave her a sense of freedom and serenity like never before. When an older adult learns to embrace solitude, they not only live a happier life, but also develop a deeper, stronger spirit. Eleanor had stepped into an entirely new phase of her life, one free from the anxiety of loneliness and the unease of comparing herself to others who seemed to have a more complete life. She realized that true happiness doesn't come from the number of people around her, but from cherishing each moment and finding peace within herself. Society often tells us that aging is only beautiful when surrounded by children, grandchildren, a vast network of friends, or a busy social life. But the truth is, not everyone finds joy in constant activity or large gatherings. Some people, like Eleanor, find their deepest sense of peace in slowing down, embracing solitude, and appreciating life's simple pleasures. If you ever feel lonely or unsure about living alone, remember that solitude is not the same as unhappiness. It can be an opportunity, an invitation to listen to yourself, nurture your well-being, and live life in a way that truly fulfills you. There's no need to conform to societal expectations or measure your life against others. Older women who embrace solitude are truly wise. They don't let the fear of being alone dictate their lives. Instead, they turn it into a journey of self-discovery, a pursuit of inner peace, and a chance to savor the precious moments life has to offer. So, ask yourself, do you really need a crowd to feel happy, or are you enough on your own? Aging is not an ending. It's an opportunity to understand yourself more deeply, to live with serenity, and to experience life in its fullest form. And once you realize that, you'll see that solitude is not something to fear, but a gift to embrace. Eleanor had stepped into an entirely new phase of her life, one free from the anxiety of loneliness and the unease of comparing herself to others who seem to have a more complete life. She realized that true happiness doesn't come from the number of people around her, but from cherishing each moment and finding peace within herself. Society often tells us that aging is only beautiful when surrounded by children, grandchildren, a vast network of friends, or a busy social life. But the truth is, not everyone finds joy in constant activity or large gatherings. Some people, like Eleanor, find their deepest sense of peace in slowing down, embracing solitude, and appreciating life's simple pleasures. If you ever feel lonely or unsure about living alone, remember that solitude is not the same as unhappiness. It can be an opportunity, an invitation to listen to yourself, nurture your well-being, and live life in a way that truly fulfills you. There's no need to conform to societal expectations or measure your life against others. Older women who embrace solitude are truly wise. They don't let the fear of being alone dictate their lives. Instead, they turn it into a journey of self-discovery, a pursuit of inner peace, and a chance to savor the precious moments life has to offer. So, ask yourself, do you really need a crowd to feel happy, or are you enough on your own? Aging is not an ending. It's an opportunity to understand yourself more deeply, to live with serenity, and to experience life in its fullest form. And once you realize that, you'll see that solitude is not something to fear, but a gift to embrace. Now, I'd love to hear from you. What resonated with you the most in this journey of exploring solitude and its role in our lives? Share one key takeaway and how you plan to embrace it in your own life in the comments below. Your perspective might just inspire someone else on their own path. If you found value in this video, let me know by leaving a comment, liking, and sharing it with someone who could benefit from this message. And don't forget to subscribe so you never miss content that nurtures growth, wisdom, and well-being. Thank you for being here, for your time, your thoughts, and your presence. I look forward to reading your reflections and continuing this conversation with you. Until next time, embrace the beauty of your own company and live each day with purpose.